You've got a problem, change your fucking car.
It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, guys? It's On the Drive. I'm Ams,
I'm Isabel.
and we're your hosts for today. So, today we are going to go back to Saudi Arabia to talk about the last race and touch a bit on F1 Academy. So, F1 Academy has been running since last year, except last year it was related to F1 in the sense that it's an academy for women in Formula One, but it was not running on the same track except for their season finale in Austin. But this year, all of the races for F1 Academy are with the F1 calendar. There are 7 races this year. Each Formula One team has to sponsor one of the girls. So, for example, we have McLaren with Bia Bustamante, or Alpine with Albi Pulling, or Mercedes with Dorian Pin. Sorry. There is 16 drivers. The cars are very similar to the Formula 4 cars. And how does a Formula 1 Academy weekend works? It is very simple. There is 1 free practice, 1 quali, and 2 races. The race positions are basically during quali. First race is on the fastest lap of quali. Second race, it's on the second fastest laps of quali.
So, um, I'll cut this out. Like, I'm the one editing anyway. So F1 Academy, from last year to this year has changed a bit, not on the racing format, like they are maintaining the racing format. So what I'm liking about F1 Academy right now is that they are giving female talent the possibility of getting higher in the F1 track, like they have more opportunities with this license points that they're getting. So
Yes.
that's better. I like that. What I didn't like last year is that they weren't streaming the races. And these girls, like, they need the sponsors to keep racing. So not streaming it was harming them more than helping them.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think last year was really kind of a trial period for everyone, like trying to see what was working, it was not working. And I do think if we had an opportunity to see the F1 Academy races, it would have been bigger, because already this year I can see so much interest from everyone on it, not only journalists but also fans. And also this year, I'm not sure it was there last year. I think it was. But they have opportunity to get super license points, which we know that without your super license, you cannot drive in Formula One. So it's very important that those drivers have the chance to have super license points, just as any male driver would.
And it's good that Formula One teams are pitching in and sponsoring these girls, which they weren't doing last year. Last year the teams, it's like it's the same teams, like the Formula 4, Formula 2, Formula 3 teams that we have. But it's good to see that Formula 1 teams are interested in sponsoring these girls and giving them a place in their teams.
Yes, exactly. Especially since we saw some of the team even are going as far as putting those girls as development drivers for, again, Bia Bustamante with McLaren. And having the Formula One team sponsoring them is just giving them this extra um reach, if I can say. Like they're out there even more because the Formula One team are out there talking about them on social medias, which is just giving them more chance to get sponsors, to get known for their talents and everything. So it's very, very good. It's a very good thing.
What is interesting to me too is that we have beauty brands and fashion brands coming
Mm-hmm.
into and pitching in and sponsoring these girls. Um, I think it's good to have beauty brands and fashion brands like sponsoring them to an extent. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not too sure if I completely like the idea of them fully sponsoring them.
Yeah, I think it's quite unique to see, like for example, the car livery for so it's Charlotte Tilbury, the makeup brand that is sponsoring Lola Lavinsfos. The car livery is quite particular because it's really in your face, if I can say. For those who haven't seen the car livery, it's basically, I think it's brown and it has a Charlotte Tilbury lips and lipstick logo on it all over. So I think it's good to show that you can be like a girly girl, if I can say, and still be in racing. To see brands like this talk about it and maybe make racing known to people who were not into it before. But it can be, I think there definitely can be some men who could be like, yeah, but it's a makeup brand. Like, what does it have to do? But yeah.
I really think it's important because makeup just I mean I guess men don't get it, but
Mm-hmm.
girls using makeup like it's a part of us and our confidence and
Mm-hmm.
who we are, like it builds our confidence up. So
Exactly.
them going into Formula One Academy and sponsoring Lola, like I really like seeing that. I really like seeing that we're taking the step of showing like, hey, makeup, it's not just something that you look pretty with.
Yeah.
Um, that you're building confidence with it. And you can
Mm-hmm.
still be a girl and use makeup and look all girly and still race a car.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. Dorian Pain was like really, really showed that she has an intelligent racecraft and talk about I don't know if you've seen that she lost her P1 for race 2. So basically her her engineers forgot to tell her the race has ended, and so she got a 20 seconds penalty.
Let me just process my
Yeah,
frustration with this.
and the official reason is that the radio was not working, but there's video of them everywhere and no one was on the pit wall.
There is no excuse for that amount for disregard on
Yeah.
a driver.
Yep, yep. I know.
How do you even forget the to tell your driver, hey, the race is over?
I don't know, especially since Dorian is used to endurance racing. So to her, 14 laps is nothing. And she was on the radio like, "Hey guys, how many laps to go?" And they had to red flag the race because she was still going like pushing, pushing, pushing.
With this, I feel the exact same way I feel with Ferrari.
Exactly. I mean, it was Prema, so
Oh my god. That makes so much sense.
yeah.
It's just those kinds of things should not be happening
Mhm.
at this point. Not to
Mhm.
her, not to any driver
Exactly.
in any team. Like you can just forget to tell a driver, "Oh, hey, the race is over." Like that
Yep.
can't happen. So she lost her
Yep. Her
one.
first place.
Yeah. And she ended up what, P2, or like did they disqualify her?
She got let me see. She got a 20 seconds penalty. So I can't remember how what the grade was after. Wait, let me pull it up. She got P9.
It's sad because she's actually like a really good driver. She
Mm-hmm.
has so much experience, and
She's very, very good.
yeah, no, she's talented, and she's shown it.
No, and she's shown it not only in single seater but also in endurance and
Mhm.
everything. I was watching so the broadcast I was watching was Canal Plus, and I can't remember the name of the woman who were commentating the race, but one of them knows Dorian, and she said she saw when Dorian did the tryouts with Prema for them to know who they would take as a driver, and they went with Wong. But she was saying that Dorian arrived second, and that to her she was the fastest. So basically, what happened is that she made some calls, so Dorian would have the chance to race, even if it wasn't in single seater, but somewhere else. And that's how Dorian got into Iron Danes and is now doing endurance.
Her being in Formula One Academy, like I just think she's too good to be in Formula One Academy. I feel like she should be at least in Formula 3 right now. And
I
I know
think so
like
too. Yeah.
there's some drivers that have not gone through Formula One Academy and still have a seat in
Mm-hmm.
Formula. So I think she should have been one of those girls that has a seat in Formula because she's good enough to be there.
Yeah, I really think so too. She's really killing it right now, and I really do think that next year we're gonna see her in a higher series like
Yeah.
Formula 3.
Yeah, her and probably like Bianca too.
Maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know how to feel about Bianca yet because she's very good. Like she's very, very good and very intelligent in doing all her marketing. But on track, she's good too. She's not a bad driver. She's a good driver. But sometimes there are things that are like for example, this weekend she was cutting every single corner, basically every time, and it feels like it's a mistake you could do during like free practice, but not every single time, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. I think Bianca needs to develop a bit more. But I do also think that she's gonna have more chance to do so, since she's a development driver for McLaren. Anyway, so
I think there's a lot of hype with her, which is why I think she would get that seat somewhere else,
yeah,
just
definitely.
because she's a good form of marketing any team
Hmm.
um, that's associated with McLaren. Since that's her sponsor, like she would probably just go to a team that has links with
Yes, probably
McLaren.
yes. That would make sense.
Exactly. Like she's not a bad driver. She's, in my
I think.
opinion, she's just not h- high up there.
Yeah, I think she needs a bit more experience. To me,
Hmm.
I mean, she's very young. She's 16 or 17.
Yeah.
It's yeah, because we were talking about Dorian earlier, but Dorian is 20, so of course it's a gigantic gap between them two and a lot more experience. So I think that comes to play too. Hmm.
Also, because
Abby is also
she's
really
really
really good.
good. Yeah.
She was she was keeping up, very much keeping up with Dorian all weekend.
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And she's like been fighting it right there
Hmm.
with Dorian. So I think she should also be one of those drivers that gets a seat somewhere else next season.
Yes, definitely. And also the other one that I find the other driver I found interesting is Leah Block, because it's her first year in single seater. Because up until then, Leah was only doing rally racing, and she honestly she held her own pretty well. She got P11 in race 2, so it's not bad for a first time, for a first race in single seater, which is so different than rally. But I think it's worth keeping an eye on her too.
She obviously needs to grow and develop more into
Yeah.
what Formula One Academy is, because rally is so much different. It's like a
Yes,
world
exactly.
difference, and it's not the same discipline that you have in rally. It's not the same one you're gonna have in F1 Academy.
Yes,
So you
that's
do
why
think she grow
that's why
into
I
something.
was impressed, because she didn't do bad at all this weekend. She was in the
Mhm.
midfield, but it's already very good, I think, for such a different category.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good for her, and it's also like a really good opportunity, like going from one to the other. Like she's
Hmm.
growing and she's stepping up to another level.
Yeah,
So we'll see how she grows and in this Formula One Academy role that she has now.
yeah. So the F1 race we had, it was quite eventful. Because right, so on. Wait, let me do some math. Because I struggle with the race being on Saturday. On on Thursday with the free practice 1 and free practice 2, we got words that Carlos Sainz was not feeling too well, but would still do the free practices, and that it would be re-evaluated whether he would do the rest of the weekend or not. Turns out he had appendicitis, and Ferrari had to replace him with Oli Berman, who's a driver in Prema Formula 2, and I think he's as a reserve driver at the moment. Well, Ferrari and Haas reserve driver. So Oli Bierman he only got to try the car in for FP3, and then he had to jump straight into quali. And all weekend we only heard good things about him from the drivers and the journalists. I do think he did a very impressive weekend.
Yeah, I agree. So did I. He had so little time to practice on a Formula One car, and
Yeah,
going into quali, like obviously he did make a mistake in quali, which it's fine. It's his. He had so little time that that mistake is accounted for.
exactly. And he came like so close to Q3, almost knocked
Hmm.
Hamilton out of Q3, which is pretty impressive. Especially Jeddah is a very hard track. So it was, even I saw an interview of Charles Leclerc was saying he watched a few laps of FP3 before jumping into the car to see how Berman was doing. And he thought to himself like, "Oh wow, he's gonna give me trouble this weekend," which he was not expecting.
No, yeah, I guess nobody expects like when a reserve driver comes in so late that they do
Yeah,
so well.
and I
Um,
think the only time he actually drove a Formula One was last year, because he did one of the free practice with Haas, but I don't think he had much experience driving an F1 car before that.
I think so either. I think they do like testings with them. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
I think they do testing in Maranello with him.
So I guess he had some experience,
Hmm.
but it's still very impressive what he
Yeah,
did
and for the
last year.
race, he finished P7, which is also
Better
very
than
good.
like
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I was scared all race, because I was very scared he was gonna DNF or something, like he was gonna get an accident or something.
mhm.
because it's Jeddah. It's not an easy track, and he drove very good. So that's
Wait,
nice.
wait.
Something that made me, I mean, it's a comment that made me laugh, not the situation. But Lance Stroll DNF'd because he had an accident and the car ended up in the wall.
Oh my god, yeah. I laughed so much with that radio.
And yeah, his engineer just went, "Can you bring back the car?" But he was in the wall.
Yeah,
So it was a bit like,
I I really like Aston Martin, and they were like really good up until that radio.
yeah,
Like, how do you ask your driver that just crashed into the wall
yes,
to bring back the car?
exactly. It's like the car is I think the front of the car was dead. So it's like, well, how do you want him to bring back the car?
And I guess they were expecting him to push the car over.
I saw a little TikTok where it was like a little cartoon of Lance with the car on his head, like just walking, like, "Yep, I'm bringing it back," and that sums it up, honestly.
No, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Mm.
Sometimes.
And one thing I wanted to touch up on too was Lando Norris race, because he's so in the end it didn't work out as well as he wanted it to. But his tire management the whole race was insane. He did basically the whole race with the same set of tires and fought very well. And then, well, when he boxed, he couldn't. He had trouble going back up the field when he boxed eventually. But it was a very very impressive feat to me that he managed to keep the tires sat well. He boxed on lap 38 for soft. That's what I've read.
Yeah, no, he had a really good race for himself. The strategy might have not been that good, but it is true that his tire management was really, really good, and I would have never expected it from him. Um, just because I really do think that he still has a lot more to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when it comes to tire management, he did really, really well, and he was also fighting really well. Whoever he had behind, I don't remember who it was.
So the classification, it was Hamilton.
Okay, yeah, no, he defended that really well because Hamilton was pushing it and trying to get that spot, and he just could not.
Yeah, I think if he didn't have to fight that hard, Hamilton behind it, he would have been able to maybe overtake a few cars. But yeah, it was an impressive race for Lando. And then classification of the race was Verstappen P1, no surprise. Checo P2 and Leclerc P3 with the fastest lap for Leclerc.
Yeah, no.
So
To me,
honestly,
at this point, it's not a surprise the how it ended up. At least the first three places, just because
yes,
it's the
that's what I
same
was thinking too.
teams. But what is impressive is that Max put so much time between him and the car behind him.
Yeah.
It is insane the amount of time he puts on.
Yes, it is. It's super. I mean, it's the same car. They have the same car.
Yeah, they have the same car, and Checo cannot reach Max for the life.
Yeah, I don't know what Max does with this car, but the thing he extracts from it is like there's nothing else to extract. He pushes it to its last limit.
Yeah, I just think it's a mix of his car setup. I really do think his car is different from Checo's. Somehow, like they have to be.
I mean, with that much of a difference, it's a bit. It's weird. It's just weird to have 20 seconds between the two cars.
No, yeah, it clearly there's something going on, they're giving like a priority to
Mhm.
Max's car. And just to me, it just seems like um they're putting Checo on the back burner and to fend for himself and do whatever he can with the car he has.
Yeah, I
Um,
truly think Red Bull is the perfect example of a team with a first driver and a second driver. Like, it's very clear that Checo is the second driver.
yeah, yeah, no, it's super clear, and it's also like a mix of the car Max has, like his setup and
Mhm.
his talent, because there is no
Yes,
denying
clearly.
that Max is extremely talented.
Max is very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, the first three weren't surprising to me either.
No, yeah,
And then,
it's always the same team, so like I'm
yeah,
2 seconds away from not watching anything else.
I usually watch just the for the fights on track and not as much for the classification because usually it's pretty much the same. So it's like I'm having fun watching
Everyone
the fight.
else.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone else. Even Charles was saying that he found the race boring because he was fighting with no one. He was almost driving by himself, like
Yeah,
not
no,
by
it,
himself, but it was like for
no,
me it was a pretty uneventful race because I wasn't fighting with Checo, I wasn't fighting with the person behind me, which was Oscar. So
Oscar also did really well.
yes, Oscar got P4.
Mm-hmm. Um, which for it's what his second
So good
season.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think that's a really good result for him for a second season. Like
Mm-hmm.
last season
Well,
for him was we're not even like gonna go into it.
I mean, between last
But
year, between the car at the beginning of the season and the fact that, I mean, he was a rookie, he was new, he was discovering everything. So, yeah. I do think Oscar has insane talent and is going to be way up there very soon.
yeah, yeah, I really think, and he's in a good team that well, good team. Because McLaren hasn't had the best few
Years,
a
yeah.
lot of years, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
years. It's been a long, long time since we've seen McLaren actually get like good results,
Yeah.
and Piastri and Norris are doing the most for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing really, really well. But for Piastri being his second season and getting results like that, it's
Yeah,
really
it's
well.
impressive.
He
Mm-hmm.
defending, impressive. Like I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that part of the race.
Yeah. And I just love his radio because he always sounds so unbothered on his radio. It's like you have drivers who are gonna like cut him off and it's just gonna be like and that's it. Like it's not gonna yell or anything. It's just like just sound a bit annoyed, but that's it. It's very funny to listen to.
No, yeah, that's actually really funny. I haven't really paid attention to his radios.
I
Um,
think it was
but it's funny that he's
last.
just well, like let it happen. Like he's
Yeah,
just
it's
taking it so seriously, and I just think that makes him so much better.
yes. He's incredible. I really like him. Okay, guys. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you back next week for Australia.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You've got a problem, change your fucking car.
It's lights out and away we go!